Welcome to My The Asshole Podcast. Let's get into it. If you don't know, then now you know. We're getting into today's thread. What's something unbelievable that you did, but no one was around to witness it? All right, so let's dive on into this juice. All right, I was stacking cartons of eggs, 12 in a pack, at my retail job when one carton fell off the shelf, stuck my foot out, it landed on it, balanced perfectly, no eggs broken. Not a single person in the aisle. Yo. I don't know if I've ever had like any crazy retail shit. Or no, actually, yes. There was a time when in meat department, there would be nights when you're the pre-closer. So, you would help the closer out by cleaning off all the dishes, breaking down saw parts and cleaning everything. That way, all they had to do was focus on like the floors, cleaning, the tabletops, the saw tops, and then like tending to the customers, whatever the case may be. There was a time where the way it's set up is like there's like a sink at the bottom, and then up at the top is usually where they keep all of pretty much the luggers, which are the big bins, and they keep some other stuff. And sometimes some stores, they have it to where like they're not spatulas per se, but it's like the knives and utensils and all that kind of stuff. Now, there was a time I was washing dishes, right? And I was cleaning, whatnot, and the knives had a rack. Like, these were shop knives. These weren't knives that the meat cutters would bring in and stuff like that. These were shop knives. And so I was cleaning, doing my thing, and then I put a knife up there. I missed the slot, right? And so I was going. I didn't know I missed the slot. And so the knife was kind of like sticking out just a little bit, and out of nowhere, out of my peripheral, I could see the knife fall, and I just grabbed it right by the handle. And I was like, oh my God, that was a knife. And I grabbed it with my bare hand, mind you. I didn't know it was a knife. I just saw something, and I just grabbed it. And I was like, oh my God. So yes, shit like that weirdly does happen. That only ever happened once, if I'm being honest with you. That I had like any other time a knife fell or anything like that, I never grabbed at it. I let it fall. I let it do its thing. But that was just one of those weird times where I'm just like in the mood or in the motions, and I was just like boop, boop, and then out of nowhere I just see it fall, and I'm like bop. And then I didn't realize what I grabbed until it was in my hand. And I was like, oh my God. And then I went home that day and I was like, whoo, if I caught the blade, imagine. Oh, my hand would have been fucked, dude. Crazy. All right. I was bored and practicing throwing playing cards in my cousin's room when I was a teenager. My aunt called us to go eat, so my cousin walked out of the room, and I walked out to follow her. I had one last card in my hand, so I turned and threw it, and nothing in particular. It spiraled beautifully and went perfectly from horizontal to vertical and went right through the gap between my cousin's wooden closet doors 15 feet away. It was probably only an eighth of an inch gap. My jaw hit the floor, but when I turned around, my cousin was already in the living room. Dang. He was just like, this is my last card. It probably won't go anywhere. Wham. And then it just says, sweep, right through the little crack in the closet. Dang, that's crazy. And then he was just like, man, nobody was there to see it. Damn, that sucks. I was riding in my dad's semi going up mountain Chattanooga, windows down. I had this Batman toy where you pull this plastic thing and this helicopter takes off. I pulled the plastic thing. The helicopter gets sucked out the window, comes back in through the driver window. Dad didn't even see it. So I tried it again. Never saw the helicopter part again. Oh, man. Rip Batman toy. And I get it. You're just like, whoa, that was cool as fuck. I wonder if I could do it again. And then it's just like, zoom, gone. You're like, oh, fuck. Like, damn it, man. You know? Ah, dang. In the 4th grade, I had a pencil in my back pocket. It was sticking up several inches above the pocket, and my shirt was somehow tucked behind it. I stood up from my desk, and the pencil had gotten caught in the back of my chair. It flipped out of my pants, broke in half, and both halves landed in the trash can. Whoa. Okay. That is okay. That's kind of weird. So he had a pencil like in his back pocket, mind you. And so, but it was sticking up kind of really far out of the back pocket. And then I guess his shirt was tucked into his pants. So when he stood up, the pencil got caught in the back of the chair. So like the chair caught the pencil, and then it went like up, it broke in half, and then both parts somehow fell in a trash can. All right. I don't know how it would fall into a trash can. Like if it's in your back pocket, maybe he's sitting like right next to a trash can maybe, and that's how it happened. But I don't know how it would get into a trash can. Okay. My friend threw a pencil at the ceiling fan in the classroom, and it smashed the fan and went flying, landed perfectly in a girl's hair bun like some kind of fancy hairpin. Oh, shit. I mean, thank God it went in her hair and didn't like stab her in the eye or something. Imagine like you just throw a pin at a fan and it just goes wink, whoosh, and it's just in her hair like wham. Like, man, dude, don't get me wrong. At that time, I'd be like, let's go, baby. But at the same time, I'd be like, oh, thank God it didn't stab her. Man. Because imagine if that pencil was just like, whomp, and it's just stuck in her head, and she's out here bleeding and shit. Oh, oh, dude. Hit by a car, rolled up the windshield and over the roof only to land on my feet unharmed and onto the other side. I was a stunt woman that day and no one saw except the driver who didn't stop. Dang! The driver ran her ass over and kept driving. But she was like, I was a stunt woman that day. Like she pretty much like rolled up the hood over the windshield and then pretty much back onto her feet, I'm guessing. And they just kept driving like, oh, we did not run that lady over. Like, what the fuck? Man. Okay. Not something I did, more just something that happened. When I was little, I fell out of bed, but my sheets were tangled in such a way that they caught me like a hammock on the side of my bed. What the heck? You must have just been really tangled up in your blankets. Because how in the hell? Well, I guess it was a thing where maybe his blankets were like tucked in to the front and back of his bed. And so when he kind of rolled out, like part of it was still tucked under the mattress. And so then it kind of caught him. Dude, imagine though, like if I would feel like I got pulled out of bed or something if that happened to me. I'd be like sitting there kind of freaked out a little bit because I'd be like, oh shit, did somebody pull me out of fucking bed? Like, you know what I mean? Because you don't really think that you toss and turn that much when you sleep, you know? And, but then, you know, obviously when something crazy like that happens, you're kind of like, who the fuck pulled me out of bed? You know, you're kind of like a little bit wary at that point, because that's how I'd feel if literally my blankets just hammocked me. You know, when I rolled out of bed, I would feel like somebody pulled me out of bed, and I'd be like, what the fuck happened? But hey, it caught him. I pet a wild moose in the backyard of my Airbnb, not realizing it was wild. Gave him a good scratch. I had him leaning into it, groaning and everything. Went back inside to ask if it's be okay to feed him some carrots or similar. Host family were horrified and quickly filed this clueless Australian in about moose. Okay, so apparently this moose, like, I guess could have killed him or something. I mean, look, I don't even know. I don't know. I would pet a moose too. But I guess, did he think like, oh yeah, this is a normal thing? You know, the owner knows about this moose chilling. And then they're like, yo, bud, I would stay away from, I'd stay away from that moose, don't you know, because you could have got bucked to your life being over. Just saying there, bud. Like, oh, really? Oh, shit. All right, man. I didn't know that. Because I would have done the same thing. I would have been like, yo, look at that fucking moose, bro. And I go try to touch it. Like, why not? You know what I mean? It's like a non-Australian seeing a kangaroo. Like, yo, bro, I want to go try and touch it. And Australians are like, oi, mate, I wouldn't touch that thing if I were you. Because you might get kicked in the next week. Just saying. You know? This is unwittingly meeting a serial killer at a bar and legitimately hitting it off and making a friend instead of being murdered horrifically. I guess. I mean, I didn't know moose were that crazy, man. I didn't know. Like I said, I would go and try and touch it too. Went for a round of golf by myself and made a hole-in-one on par 3. I called people immediately, but it wasn't the same. Dang, man, that's gotta suck. Like, imagine, you're just going, having a good time. You're just like, I'm gonna go by myself, I'm gonna go hit a few holes, and you're just like, whack. And you're like, no, let's go. And you're just like, yo, man, I just hit a hole-in-one on fucking hole 3. And they're just like, cool, dude. Thanks for letting me know, I guess. And he's like, come on, man. Don't you know what I just did? Oh, that would suck. That's like if you and your buddies go bowling every weekend and they couldn't make it this weekend, so you go by yourself and you bowl 300 and you're just like, yo, man, I just bowled a 300, which is all strikes. And then they're just like, cool, man. And you're like, but I did it though. And it's like, it ain't the same. Damn, man. I once dealt myself a royal flush, but everyone was getting drink/snacks, so they all thought I was joking and called it a misdeal. Also, side note, I wasn't paying attention right now and commented this on a random ass post about a pipe breaking. Okay. I guess he posted it on a plumbing thread and was just like, it's because it's a royal flush, I'm guessing. All right. Once I was putting away groceries and I put something on the top shelf. I turned around to start walking away, but then I reflectively reached out my hand behind me and caught the thing I put up on the shelf. I did it and can't believe I did it. Yeah, man, that was the same thing like the fucking knife, like the knife story I was telling you guys, where, you just put something up there and then, it's just peripheral and you just see it and you're like boom, and you're just like, oh, what the fuck? Because I was the same way. I'm like, holy shit, I cannot believe I grabbed a falling knife by the handle. You know, and like I said, that never happened ever again. It happened one time. That was it. You know, and it was just like, holy shit, you kind of feel like a badass. I ain't gonna lie to you. You're like, I could be a superhero now. In ninth grade, I was the only person waiting in the bathroom. There were 5 stalls in there, all occupied. The toilets flushed at the same time, and the 5 people all opened their doors and walked out of their stalls at the same time. All 5 of them in perfect sync. None of them seemed to notice. I was shook. Looking back at it now, perhaps it was a glitch in the simulation. This man walks into a bathroom and he just hears all the toilets go at the same time. Everybody walk out at the same time. And he's like, hey, you don't see what you guys just did? Like, you guys were pretty much in sync of the, toilet. Like, you guys should be in a boy band. You guys finish shitting and wiping your ass at the same time. You guys open the door at the same time. They probably all, wash their hands at the same time. You know what I mean? Like, that's kind of a wild thing to see. That's kind of like seeing 2 of the same car in the same color on the street at the same time, and they're just like right next to each other. That's that type of shit right there. And I know we've all seen that before. Let's see. From my bed, I flicked a pencil across the room, hit the light switch and turned it off. Then I had to get up to close the door. Oh, man. My brakes were going out in my Camaro, so it was basically all or nothing. I had to really stand on them to make them work. But still driving it because I was young and foolish. I was driving home from work on a basic city street and it had started to ice up. The cars ahead of me were coming to a stop. So I stomped on the brakes to slow down, knowing this was not an ideal situation, and started to slide. It turned into a parking lot to my right and my car slid around 270 degrees perfectly. So I was facing right back out facing the street like I needed to be to drive back out. I just sat there stunned for a moment and then very slowly, gingerly made my way a couple blocks home. I'm sure someone saw me, but no one I could say, holy crap, did you just see that too? So pretty much he was like driving into a parking lot. He hit the brakes really hard, and so his car went and just turned his ass around. I wouldn't say a full 180, because he said like 270 degrees. I don't know how he knows it was perfect 270 degrees, but I'm sure it was a point to where his car slid so perfectly to where it was like now he could just drive out. Which for me, I would be terrified on my way home. I'd be like, no fucking way this happened to me. I need to go get my brakes changed. Man, that would terrify the absolute hell out of me. That would put the fear of God in me. I'd be like, yo, Jesus said you get one. Man, the big man in the sky said, hey, you get one. This is your warning right here to go get them fucking brakes changed, because next time you're sliding into a wall. He's like, I got you on this one, man, but next time your bitch ass sliding into a wall. All right, I can only watch out for you so much. Oh my God. Imagine I'm home alone. We have a weird closet that's about 30 feet long and about 5 feet wide. One side, nothing but shelves and clothing. I am maybe 8 years old and I have a foot-long novelty baseball bat from Louisville Slugger. I hear a fly. It's in the closet. I'm in the doorway, so it only has one way out. I can barely track with my eyes. I have to use my ears. I swing. I hear the smallest little thwack, and then a little sound of something hitting a box in the back of the closet. I found the dead fly on the floor. I absolutely swear it's true. Even at 8, I know no one would believe me if I told them. Damn, son. I mean, for me, I like to get my little hand towels and like roll them up. And you know how back in school, you used to like whoop-pow, whoop-pow, you know what I mean? I do that with flies, if I'm being honest with you. Fly swatters are great, and that's fine and all. But sometimes, they don't hit the fly hard enough. You know what I mean? Either that or they do, and it like splashes them all over the fucking wall, and that kind of sucks too. I much rather like incapacitate them, because when you hit them with that towel hard enough, it literally just incapacitates them. Like their wing is just broken, and they're like, oh shit. Then you could just pick them up in a little napkin and just fucking throw them away and shit like that. But I mean, for him to hit it with a bat that perfectly, I could understand it. Especially if it's a fat fly where it's like you can audibly hear that motherfucker and it's like, I can't stand that. Oh, it pisses me off. I get my little towel, I roll that thing. I'm like, come on, motherfucker. It's you and me. Like get the fight noise ready. Because, man, you are dying. Unless you find a way to escape my house, you're dying, motherfucker. All right. I made the impossible pool shot when I was in high school, and I'm a terrible pool player. I was just messing around, and the ball I was intending to hit bounced off the different sides and landed, and I was all alone. Okay. All right. I know nothing about pool, so I'm sure he hit something fantastic. All you people out there who play pool, you probably know what you're talking about. I don't know what he's talking about, though. Was in Venice at 16, slipped on some wet stones and almost flew headfirst into the Grand Canal. But my hand made unexpectedly quick friends with the lamppost, and I swung around like Genie fucking Kelly and landed on my feet. Not a goddamn person watching. Whoa. So he pretty much was like walking along this thing, and there was a pole. He like slips, almost falls in, and then he grabs it and like slides around and then lands back on there, and he's just like, oh shit. Oh my God. Because he would have fell into the canal if he didn't grab on and like swing himself back to the thing. Like, damn. Some people just be getting athletic out of nowhere, and you're just like, yo, nigga, what the fuck? When I was 15, I bought a cheap 10-speed bike, and I was going downhill, not too fast, but when I applied the brakes, the front fork snapped and locked up the front tire, sending me somersaulting over the handlebars. In midair, I remember thinking, tuck and roll, which I did. I landed on the back of my left shoulder and rolled into my feet, running down the hill. The bike was destroyed, but all I had was a little scrape on my shoulder. It had to be one of the coolest things anybody had ever seen. Alas, nobody did. So he pretty much did like a full front flip type thing, and then landed on his back and rolled on his feet to keep going. Man, now that is some super movie shit. I ain't gonna lie to you. And then nobody sees it, and then you try to go tell somebody about it, and they're like, nigga, shut up. You didn't do none of that. You're like, but nah, man, I totally did. Like, it happened. It happened so fast, but it happened. Like, what do you mean? Come on. All right, let's see. All right. The side yard of my house was a mess. Kind of a narrow space, but muddy and uneven, and some guys mixed concrete on the ground and left patches of it, weeds also. Bought 3 cubic meters of small gray rocks and had that dumped in my driveway over a period of about a week. I moved all 3 cubic meters of those rocks by hand using a shovel, a small wheelbarrow, and a rake. I'm 82, and yes, I was inordinately proud of myself. God damn, nigga. Yeah, that man's 82 and was just like, I'm out here doing what you youngsters could never do. Fuck we talking about here? All right. Let's see. I almost ate some serious shit going way too fast downhill on a bicycle in college. My dorm entrance was halfway down a long mid-hill with a continuous grade, and I usually let myself get get cooking on the descent. Okay. This time I was evening. Oh, it was evening and the light was messing with my depth perception. I took a turn a half a second late and overshot it, putting me in a patch of dirt and pebbles. It was mid-left turn. At this point, the rear tire slipped and I somehow simultaneously planted my left foot hard, slammed on the front brake that still had some traction, and swung my right leg over the bike, landing with both feet down on the other side. Hung into the handlebars and more or less did a pirouette with it, almost finishing the full arc of a circle. Not a scratch on me or the bike, nor a soul around. I still get the feeling my brain is still lying to me about it. Okay. Man, some of y'all motherfuckers be getting really lucky with this, bike shit. Like the first guy that did a full somersault and then just rolled and landed on his feet and started running down. This guy, he pretty much slid, because he turned, but then he was right into some rocks and stuff like that. And he just slid and did a 180 pretty much, or 360, I guess you could say. And he was just oh, okay, all right, cool, I'm gonna just keep going, I guess. I you know what I mean? It's one of those moments where you're just okay, yes, I am going to fall and hurt myself at this point, and then you don't, and you're okay, all right, cool. All right then. Let's see. Oh, no. Oh, damn. Somebody said I caught a fly with a chopstick. I would love to see that. All right. Well, this thread kind of got dry pretty quick. So, all right. Well, that's going to be the end of that thread. It started off strong and then it got pretty dry after a while. So, it is what it is. Hopefully you guys liked that thread for what we saw for. Let's go ahead and get into the announcements for today's show. Patreon.com/Am I the Asshole Podcast. $3 a month if you guys want to get an exclusive episode every Friday, as well as being able to send in your scenario like people did today and get them featured onto the show. Patreon.com/Am I the Asshole Podcast. All my audio listeners out there, thank you guys so much for all the support, man. Please keep rating the podcast. If you haven't rated the podcast yet, please rate it. Keep downloading each episode. That helps out so much, man. The downloads, the rates, all that helps, man. It helps a lot, okay? Thank you guys so much for all that support. If you would like to support me even further, youtube.com/Am I the Asshole Podcast, all one word. Hit the subscribe button there, man. If you're primarily a audio listener and you don't really, use YouTube for podcasts, whatever, just go over there, hit the subscribe button. It helps, man. It helps. Any little thing helps, man. All right. I appreciate you guys for everything. I love being able to interact with you guys. TikTok as well as Instagram. Follow us there for all the clips. Follow us on TikTok because every Sunday at 5 p.m. we go live. We do a live episode. Don't worry about it. If you miss the episode, it's all good. I always post them that Sunday so that way you guys can get the recording, because I understand, some of you guys, it's the weekend, you guys aren't really on social media like that, or you don't really listen to podcasts on the weekends, you're out doing stuff, so on and so forth. But hey, Monday, it's there for you, you know what I mean? You have a Monday episode and then you'll get a Tuesday episode. So, it's all Gucci, man. So if you missed the live on Sunday, don't worry about it. I will post, it'll go up that same day. So I got you. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get into our scenarios. Again, if you want to get your scenario onto the show, patreon.com/Am I the Asshole Podcast. Let's get into it. I beat my meat in class one time. All right, man. Give me 1 second before we start. All right. Woo. Goddamn. One year in middle school, I forgot my binder for class in my locker, which basically meant you took the L for that day and couldn't do/turn in any work because you were irresponsible. So as a hormonal teenager with nothing to do, with nothing but time on his hands for the next 50 minutes, what did I do? I masturbated. That's what I did. I remembered it was in the winter because I was layered up in long pants and a sweater. At first, it was completely innocent. I pulled my arms through the sweater to get warmer. Eventually, I, with my arms still in my sweater, progressed down to my pants with my hands to maximize the warmth. Again, completely innocent. As minutes passed by, the boredom progressed. I started flirting with the idea of rubbing one out. No way I'll get caught, I thought, but went for it anyway. Quick side note, I know a way to beat my meat quietly without a jerking motion. This nigga out here flexing the fact that he's like, yeah, bro, I know how to beat my meat without looking like I'm beating my meat. Psh, y'all niggas could never. I'm the champ out here, man. Get on my level. Like, bro, what the fuck? All right. Ooh, ma'am, did I severely underestimate my discreet fat method? I must have locked down twice to make sure every time my hand moved, it wasn't noticeable. It was positioned in the back. I was positioned in the back of class right next to a wall, so all I had to worry about was to my left. At first, I was too nervous to think of anything to get me off. That's when my gaze fixed upon my mid-20s teacher. Fresh out of college at the time and beautiful chocolate skin, her being right there in front of me made it so much easier to imagine scenarios and the such. Plus, I was in a speed run to just get this shit over with. I came pretty quickly into it, and this was the age where I wasn't dropping gallons. I do remember there being a single wet dot on my pants, though, and freaking out someone would say something. The crazy part is nobody freaking knew I beat my meat. I didn't spasm or anything noticeable on orgasm. Everybody talked to me like normal. If they knew, I'd imagine they'd avoid me. It was smooth, thankfully. Looking back on it, it was fucking stupid and could have really messed me up on a mental and social level if it went south. I was a wild kid back in the day. Golly, man. I mean, that's that middle school mentality, bro. You know, you're just like, I ain't got nothing else to do. Might as well beat my dick. And it's like, bro, like, what the fuck are you doing, man? God damn, that's crazy. You know? And I wouldn't put it past a lot of these kids, you know what I mean? They're just like, fuck it, why not? I'm horny, I'm gonna beat my meat. Like, okay. Jesus, dude. That is some wild shit. That would have been crazy if he got found out, though. Man, if he got found out, dude, then your parents got to come down to the school, and then you got to have a parent-teacher conference, and then, you know, his parents are like, well, you know, why are we having this meeting? What's going on? Is, you know, he having trouble in class? And it's like, well, yeah, we kind of caught him touching himself in class. You know, and as a parent, that would be awkward as fuck. You're just like, he did what? What the fuck are you doing, boy? What the fuck are you doing beating your goddamn meat in class, man? And then he over here talking about it like it's a fucking art form and shit. He's over here like, yeah, man, I know how to do it right, where nobody could ever know that I'm out here beating my meat. And it's like, okay, you flexing on that, bro? For real? You flexing on that? Okay. All right, man. All right, man. Okay, next scenario. I, 29 female, send nudes to my coworker. My goodness. You bitches love sending some nudes out here, bro. And then regretting it later on. Because this is probably like the fourth time I've gone over something where a girl has been sending nudes. And then, because like one girl, she was talking to a guy for fucking 2 days, sent some nudes. And I'm like, bitch, what are you doing? Another girl, she had sent some nudes and was just like, oh, it's considered sexual assault because you won't delete the nudes or whatever kind of shit like that. I'm like, what? No, bitch, you sent the nudes. And then the third time where it was like, homegirl, she has sent the nudes, and then because they have broken up, she felt like she was entitled to be like, hey, no, you can't have those anymore. You need to delete them. 'Cause she was like, oh, am I the asshole for asking like him to delete the nudes? And it's like, you sent them. And at this point, it's one of those things where it's like, you got to trust homeboy, to not be an asshole and, send them to his buddies or put them on the internet. Like, you sent them. If you didn't want them out there like that, and you had an inclination that you guys were going to break up, whatever it can be, why do it in the first place? But here we go. So I work at a college, and there's a professor who everyone knows is famous for hitting on all the women, saying degrading things, or asking for nudes. My colleague hates him, and I agree with everything and pretend to hate his actions, but secretly I want his attention. Knowing this, I asked to follow him on Instagram and posted a provocative story, and he took the bait. From that day on, we exchanged nudes in the workplace, and he said the most dirty things. He fucked me with his eyes, and I loved every second of it. But there's a problem. I'm married, and so is he. He has 2 children, and his wife also works at the college. But there's it used to be just nudes, but things are slowly escalating. One day, I took the phone to him one day I took the phone to him to make a call, and while he was talking, I flashed my tits. This man was speechless and all red. I love this moment, and it only made me want to tease him more. I feel terrible doing this, but at the same time, it's so exciting. The last time he flashed his dick and my manager was behind, I had to hide my face and a lot to not look suspicious, but it was delicious. I gave him my wet panties that day. I just think about fucking him, and it's hard to resist him. Yes, I'm a whore. Judge me. Bro, what the fuck? And she's married. Like, I cannot wrap my head around that. Like, this chick is married, and she's over here just like, oh, yeah, he's such a misogynist, all right. How dare he do that? And she's over here just like, I want that. I want his attention so bad. That motherfucker turns me on like crazy. And I'm just like, what the fuck is going on here? Like, what? My thing is, what about you? What about your husband? Like for him, I can kind of understand, because he's got a little sexy little thing walking around at work, sending him nudes and shit like that. So for the guy, it's kind of like, it is what it is. Guys gonna be guys, where, men are thirsty creatures of habit. It's just the way we are. And men are very visual. So it's like, a very attractive female, especially if I'm working with her, whatever, and she's willing to, do all that stuff. That's great. But for him, it's like, my nigga, your wife works there. So what are you doing? Your wife works with you. So it's like, you really playing with fire. I mean, for her, it ain't all that bad because, her husband probably doesn't work with him or with her and stuff like that. So, it ain't all that bad. But still, it's one of those things where it's like, you guys are playing with fire, man. And I get it. It's exciting and they're sneaking around and doing it in public and so on and so forth. But my goodness, man. You guys are out here playing with fire because, oh my God, I could never find out some shit like that. My girl's out here sending nudes to another dude. Oh, and she's my wife? Man. Out here wifing up these whores, bro. God damn, she admitted. She was like, I'm not even being discriminatory to her because she was like, yes, I'm a whore, I know. And it's like, then You know what I mean? What the fuck is going on here? Golly, dude. Her husband better not find out, because that man might go ballistic. He might go up to that job and start whooping that nigga's ass, and then telling the wife, like, you know what this fucking piece of shit was doing? He was out here showing his dick to my wife, and her dumbass was sending nude pictures to him. Like, that is crazy. The fact that she needed to get validation from this dude and she couldn't get it from her man, like, God damn, that's wild, bro. All right, let's get on to the next one. I hooked up with my friend's brother while at my friend's birthday party. I hooked up with my friend's brother while at my friend's birthday party. All right. Damn. God, this is the episode of hoes, huh? God damn. I've hooked up with my friend's brother a few times. Oh, so this wasn't the first time. Okay, she made it seem like it was the first time. He or she, I guess you would say. Oh, well, okay, it's a girl, yeah. She made it seem like it was just the first time. Like, oh, yeah, this was the first time we had sex, and it just happened to be a thing where it was at, my friend's birthday party. No, they've been doing this for a while. I hooked up with my friend's brother a few times, and always in secret. I don't know what would happen if anyone knew about it, but I can't imagine it would be good. I'm sure that my friendship would recover, but it would still be awkward since I'm so close to her family. For sure, it would mean I would have to stop sleeping with her brother, and I just don't want to do that. Even though it's a secret, I often hook up with him or steal secret kisses when I'm hanging out with my friend. When I'm at her house and he's home, I just can't stop myself from slipping away and dipping into his room for a few minutes. I know that it's increasing the risk that we'll get caught, but I think I like that. I like the rush of knowing we're doing something in secret, and a big part of that rush is knowing there's always a possibility that we'll get caught and be found out. When I went to my friend's birthday party, knowing that her brother would be there along with the rest of her family, I could already see where things were going. I would flirt with him in quiet moments. We got alone. I would try to, I guess, find time. Find time. I would try my best to find a time I could sneak away with him and wouldn't be able to resist hooking up with him. Things went just as I predicted they would go. I know that I should have been focused on my friend, on making sure that she was having a good birthday, but all my attention was glancing at her brother and seeing if he was glancing at me. Sure enough, he kept looking at me. When he got me alone for a moment, he accused me of looking too sexy and told me I was going to get him in trouble. A little later on, I suggested that we get out together for a little while. I said that no one would notice if we both disappeared. He was more nervous than me, suggesting that we wait until the night was over to make sure that we didn't get caught or make anyone upset. Still, I liked the risk of it, and I kept teasing. Eventually, he came around to my way of thinking. All that mattered was getting to fuck and getting to do it soon. We would take all the risks we need to take in order to make it happen. We left the building when no one was around and found a dark spot around the side where it was where we were unlikely to be disturbed. The risk was still there, but it made me feel shaky with the adrenaline. But that just turned me on even more. I sucked his mushroom tip with all of that energy given to me by the adrenaline, and I found that it quickly turned into pure arousal. I slipped off my panties, and in a heat of the moment, I lost them in the floor somewhere. Standing up and leaning against a wall, I bent over so that he could fuck me. The fuck was quick and rough and passionate. He fucked me hard and fast, making my eyes roll back into the back of my head as I moaned for him, covering my mouth with his hand. He kept me quiet. We were both still aware of the risk of getting caught. Afterwards, we returned to the party with no one having noticed we were gone. Still, I knew what we had done. For one, I had lost my underwear, so was now nude under my dress. It made me want to have another go with him, feeling unaware that he could lift my dress and shove it in me. Shove it right in. We didn't hook up again until after the party, though, once everyone had gone home. God damn, bro. That, that adrenaline shit must be crazy. And for him, oh man, he's living the dream. Because for him, there's nothing to lose. If I'm being honest with you, there's nothing to lose. Like, even if they get caught, he could still like go over to her house and still smash her and be chilling. For her, obviously, you know, she would be looked at pretty bad. I personally don't see anything wrong with it. Like, unless her friend doesn't want her to date her brother, I see nothing wrong with it. You know what I mean? Like, you could probably even tell your friend, hey, you know, I think your brother's cute, whatever, you know, what if we dated? And I think she would just be like, ew, that's kind of weird, because obviously that's her brother. But she would just be like, are you sure? You know, you really like him, blah, blah, blah. And she could just be like, yeah, you know, I like him. You know, and then it would just be a thing where it's like, okay, you know what I mean? Hey, if that's what you want to do, if you want to date him, then go ahead and do that. I don't really see anything, but I think she doesn't want to go that route, because she's like, nah, the adrenaline and the getting caught is way more fun. But see, that also sucks, because if they ever got into something serious, she would leave immediately. You know, because I think the only reason she's even attracted to him or aroused by him is the simple fact that it's taboo. You know, it's like, oh man, it's forbidden for me to be with this guy. I can't be with him. Da da da. You know what I mean? If we got caught, it would be crazy. You know, some shit would happen. And like I said, even if they did get caught, it's like they'd probably still smash, but it would diminish hugely, because it's like, it's up here, you know. Once they get caught, then it's like, now it's like way down here, because now it's just normal, you know. It's an everyday thing. Like, them kissing in public is not to the same degree. Them having sex in public, it's not the same thing, you know. It's not the same degree. Them, you know, sneaking off to do whatever, it's not to the same degree. So it would diminish hugely, and it would suck for him, because it's just like, damn, man, I was getting some bomb coochie, and then now, you know, it's gone now. Yeah, just because she's not excited about it anymore. She's just like, the adrenaline's gone, I don't really care for it anymore, you know. But hey, man, live the dream as long as you can. Shit, that's all I can say. God damn, if a girl is willing to go that far, you know what I mean, to like get some dick, like, hell yeah, bro. Like, man, she out here losing her underwear for you and shit. Like, man, hey. All right. Let's get into our next one. Am I the asshole for dumping my boyfriend for cheating on me 3 days after asking me out? Nigga, what? What kind of dumb shit is that? He asked the girl out. She said yes. And then 3 days later, he already smashed another girl? What the fuck? All right, let's see. I, 22 female, dated this guy, 27 male, who cheated on me 3 days after officially asking me to be his girlfriend. He asked me to be his girlfriend on a Monday, and I said yes because we had been talking for a while, so it made sense to finally make things official. That Monday, he told me about a friend of his, we'll call her Kara, was coming into town, and said he would be going over to her place that week, Thursday. I wasn't comfortable with it and suggested they go to a public place in town, but he insisted on her place because I didn't want to seem untrustworthy. I let him go. On Thursday, I texted him as usual, and he was taking longer than usual to respond to my messages. For some reason, I just felt something was wrong, but I let it go. After work, he told me he was over at another of his friend's place, so I decided to go see him. He was acting really weird, but I didn't think much of it, but felt really uncomfortable. Kara called, and he stepped out of the living room to pick up her call, and I asked him why he had to step out. He said, and I quote, "The connection is better outside." I just said, okay. Fast forward to Sunday, he went on a date, and while talking, he asks if I'm sure of my decision to be with him. I was very confused because, I mean, why would I be dating him if I wasn't sure about it? Okay, I start telling him reasons why I love him. Damn, girl. Y'all been dating for like 5 days at this point. You over here, oh, I love you. Like, well, chill. And this guy starts crying. I'm thinking to myself, I must really be a smooth talker and continue my speech. But then he stops me and says to me, Georgia, I cheated on you. I froze. I was confused and then it clicked. I responded, Cara, Thursday. And he confirmed my suspicions. He had cheated on me the Thursday he went to see Cara. I laughed because I couldn't believe it. This was my first real relationship, the first guy I genuinely wanted to marry, and he's telling me he's cheated on me just 3 days after asking me to be his girlfriend. He begged and said they only kissed, and he stopped it immediately because he thought of me and didn't want to hurt me. If you didn't want to hurt me, you'd have never done that. You would never done anything with her in the first place. They didn't just kiss, bro. They fucked. Come on, man. You really think that he had the temperance to sit there and be like, oh, no, I just kissed her. You know, no, I just kissed her. Nah, bruh. Nah, he fucked that girl. He beat that chick's cheeks because I guarantee you it was a thing where he was talking to this car girl and he was talking to you at the same time. And then he looked at it like, nothing's really happening with Cara. It's not really going as well as it's going with you. And so he was like, I want you to be my girlfriend. But then Cara, she was kind of just like, you know what? I probably should just give him some coochie, you know what I mean? See where things go. And so then, he went to the crib, got him some booty, because I guarantee you he fucked that girl. There's no way he didn't. And if you out here believing that he didn't, that's cap to the highest degree. I ain't gonna lie to you. Man, I left him when I got home. I called his sister and told her everything. It was from his sister that I discovered that Cara wasn't just a normal friend to him, but his ex-girlfriend. Oh, he never told me this. I was shattered. He called me the next day asking to see me, and I agreed. When I saw him, I asked him who made the first move, and he said he did. I can't describe the pain I felt. He told me he was sorry and it wouldn't happen again. I should please forgive him. We should move on. I asked him if he still spoke to her, and he said he had enforced boundaries with her and they no longer speak because he told her he wants to be with me and not her. I laughed and asked him why he never told me she was his ex. And he said to me, we were friends. I didn't see the need of bringing up my past relationships up. I was furious. I couldn't believe his excuse. And I told him the fact that we were friends is even more reason why you had to tell me. He begged me that entire week to take him back, and I didn't budge. Cheating has always been a deal breaker for me. But just 3 days after asking me to be his girlfriend, I couldn't believe he ever loved me. Bro, what is going on here? You guys have been dating for like 5 days, bro. And you over here. I love him. And I can't believe he loved me. He didn't love you. He didn't love you, baby girl. Nah. If he was this quick to go fucking mac on another girl, and like I said, he downplaying it, bro. He got his dick wet. That is an ex-girlfriend. And he was the one that initiated it? Come on, man. He at least got his dick sucked. At least, at minimum, he got his dick sucked. Like, come on, man. To cut the long story short, when he came over to my apartment to beg again, I found out that he had lied to me. He was not my skill speaking to Cara, but he had done more than kissing with her on the day he visited. After seeing me that Thursday, I told you he fucked homegirl. Come on, man. You believe that? You believe that they just kissed and then he was like, no, I can't do this. I have a girlfriend. Bitch, really? Come on now. Nah. He smashed that girl, especially if it was an ex-girlfriend. See, I thought it was a thing where this was a girl that he was talking to, and he was kind of talking to you both at the same time. Things weren't really moving as fast as he wanted with her, so then he went with you. And then things started moving fast with her, and he was just like, oh, cool, shit, I'm going to, get a little womp over here, and then I'm going to, be with her or whatever. And Or, trick and try to be with both of them. I don't know. But it was one of those things where it's like, I knew that there's no way. There's no way. And then when it came out that was his ex-girlfriend, oh, definitely there was no way he just kissed her. He's so fucked. Why? Because he's already fucked her in the past when they were together. So it's like, what's the difference, between this and when they were in a relationship? It's just the fact that, now he's cheating or whatever. And homegirl knows what she's doing. She's trying to get her man back from this girl. Like, come on. Like, dude. He had gone back to her apartment and spent the night with her and spent a part of Friday with her, but he insisted he never had sex with her, which I do not believe. Yeah, okay, good. Good on you, girl, because there ain't no way. Like, he clapped them cheeks, bro. When I asked him why he never told me he slept over at her place on Thursday, he said he apologized for Thursdays, so that covers his sleeping over as well. I lost it. That was the last straw, and I ended things completely with him. Side note, I found out about these things because I went through his phone when he came to see me. Am I the asshole for not giving him another chance? Girl, you are not an asshole. This dude is out here just capping over and over and over again. And then he expects you to be like, oh, yeah, no, it's good. It's all right. It's fine. Like, bro, look, man. For one, you are like, the more you're like trying to get back with her, the worse you're making it. Because think about it like this. He cheated or whatever. He said that they kissed. Okay. I mean, just the fact that you went over to her house, she didn't already like that. So you were already in hot oil. All right. With her. Then she found out that you kissed her, your ex-girl, or you kissed this girl, let's just say. Then she finds out that was an ex. So it's like, bro, you're in hot oil already. And then you be like, oh no, it was just a kiss. And then she finds out that it was an ex. Then she finds out that you spent the night and that it was you that started it. And then you're begging for her back, this and that. And then she finds out you slept over. So there's no way you didn't clap the cheeks because you spent the night, you initiated, and this is an ex-girlfriend. So you've already had sex with this girl in the past. You already, you guys already know each other very sexually and intimate like that. So, of course, I wouldn't put it past her either. I would be sitting there like, yeah, you probably smashed this girl. What the fuck are we talking about here? It's like, dude, and you expect her to take you back? Come on, man. Like, you lying out the wazoo. And every time you talk to her, you're making it worse. Like, you should have been straight up from the beginning. Like, if you would have brought it all out right then and there, like, hey, yes, I went to her house. That's my ex-girlfriend. We kissed. I initiated and I spent the night. If you would have brought it all out in one lump sum, she might have probably been like, okay, he was honest with me. He broke everything down. He told me everything. All right. Maybe I can give him a second chance. Maybe, if we put a little boundaries on this shit, we can kind of get things back on track, whatever the case may be, because she sat here and is just like, oh my God, I'm in love with him after fucking 3 days, whatever the case may be. So, but the fact that you did it incrementally like that, where to her, it was like, it just got worse and then worse and then worse and then worse. And you're over here still trying, like, you're like, baby, come on, please come back to me. Come back to me. Oh, that's my ex-girlfriend and I don't even want to be with her anymore. Like, what? You said this was just a friend. And you guys happen to kiss. What the fuck? And then next day, oh, baby, come on, come back to me, please. Come on. I know she's my ex, but I don't ever talk to her ever again. Da, da, da. I did spend the night, though, but, I already said sorry to that, so it covered everything. And it's like, you spent the night now? Like, dude, you're making it worse as it goes on, and you expect her to take you back, bro. And it's one of those things where it was probably like, she thought to herself and was just like, okay, yeah, they kissed. He probably, regrets it, whatever the case may be. He told me about it. He was honest. Okay. And that's his ex-girlfriend. Oh, that's tough. But, as long as they don't talk anymore, they cut communication and this doesn't happen, we're good. Then he comes back And he's like, hey, can we meet up, whatever? And she's like, yeah, we can meet up, because she probably thought about it and was like, you know what? I'm a give him another shot. And then he comes out with the whole I slept over, and it's just like, nigga, and I was just about to forgive you, you know what I mean, and get back together with you, and then you pull this rabbit out of the hat. So it's like, dude, you fucked up so many times, and he thinks like, oh, I just made one mistake. No, man, no, you made like 5. She was like, strike 1. Maybe I could forgive him for that, whatever, and whatever case may be, we could probably work it out. And then you came back to her, oh yeah, it was my ex-girlfriend, this and that, strike 2. And it's like, oh, okay, maybe we can still work things out, as long as he doesn't talk to her, and then, I don't know, I slept over at our house, strike 3, god damn, nigga, what is going on here? Oh, we didn't do anything. Strike 4, because I know you fucked her. Like, that's your ex-girlfriend, and you're sleeping over at her house, so on and so forth. And it's just like, dude, yeah. And that poor girl, man, she's going to have some major trust issues with the next guy. That sucks. Out here fucking it up for the rest, man. Okay, on to the next one. This will be our last scenario for today. Again, if you want to get your story onto the show, patreon.com/Am I the Asshole podcast. Let's get to it. $3 a month, exclusive episode every Friday, and you can send in as many scenarios as you want. All right, let's get to it. That on time entitled person was told that's too bad. Okay, so an entitled person that was told that's too bad. All right. This was around Burning Man on Monday. My wife and I were visiting family in Reno, Nevada, and the flight back to our town was the same day a lot of people got stuck in the mud at Burning Man. Okay. Our flight was 6:40 a.m., but we got there at 4:30 a.m. to be safe. When we got to TSA, there was over 100 mud-covered people in line for normal check. An older lady had a medical issue, and firefighters showed up with an ambulance to take her out. All the while, we just inched forward and went around them. Around 6 a.m., we finally got to the front of the line and about to hand in IDs for check. This is where the funny part begins. I see this social media influencer type chick just rolling her luggage past everyone with her purse in hand and went straight to TSA pre-check. When she got to the agent, he asked if she is pre-check. She goes, yeah. He scans her boarding pass, then bam. Doesn't your TSA it doesn't say your TSA pre-checked. You gotta go to the back of the line. Oh, but I'm going to miss my flight. Can't I just go through since I'm here? Mind you, she skipped over 100 people patiently waiting. No, you got to wait like all the other folks. Lady, you got to go back to, oh, the lady didn't say anything. And then the TSA guy said, you got to go back, you got to go to the back of the line. She then just proceeds to stand there for like another 30 seconds, not comprehending what she was just told. She looks at the line, which is snaking all the way to the front, and just dumbfounded that her little attempt failed. My wife and I had a good laugh while having front row seats to the whole thing. The entitlement of some people. Yeah, man. I can't stand when some people feel super entitled, like they feel like they get special treatment. They feel like they should just be treated, like a king and queen or whatever. Nobody could tell them anything. And it's like, no, you're normal, just like everybody else. And you're going to fucking wait in line. Like, who do you think you are? You know what I mean? Like, and that happens all the time. I always go back to my retail working background, where there were so many people who felt so entitled over shit, man. It was disgusting. disgusting sometimes. The fact that people felt so entitled over shit. They would sit there and say dumb shit like, oh, I do this all the time, and oh, the manager does it for me, and oh, you don't know who I know, and oh, I know the what's the name, get your manager, because I know them and they'll do it for me, blah blah blah. Like, entitled people are just the worst of the worst kind of people, man. It is ridiculous, the shit that, like, we have to deal with those people. You know what I mean? I mean, for them, they didn't have to deal with that, but I'm sure with TSA and, you know, people who deal with all of that, they have to deal with it to the degree like 10 times. And even like you call center people, you know, you people who do on the phone customer service, and you do support, you know, service and stuff like that. Man, you guys get it even worse, dude. Oh my God. Cause you guys get yelled at all the fucking time, and you guys are over the phone, you know. I mean, don't get me wrong. It is very like more worse in person, because then they're just kind of standing there. But I remember for me, whenever I saw an entitled person, I would just tell them what it is. And then I would just stand there quiet and just stare at them, because they expect me to, like, come up with a solution for them. And I'm like, no, I'm not coming up with a solution for you. I don't get paid to fix your problems. Fuck we talking about here? I get paid to help you out. And I helped you out. I told you what it was, and you don't like the answer. So we're just going to stand here, because I get paid. I get paid to stand here. You don't. You're the one wasting your time. You know what I mean? Like, when entitled people would sit there and act like, you know, I'm about to fucking fix their problems and all that kind of shit. I'm just like, I would do it gladly. I'd gladly stand there. I'd be like, yep. You know, we can stand here all day. I get paid by the hour. So it ain't nothing on me. You know what I mean? And then when it's time for me to clock out, I'm going to walk away from you. And I'm going to clock out and go home. And I'm going to sleep comfortable as fuck, while you going to be hot and heated. And you know what I mean? Like, fuck we talking about here, man? You know, the nerve of entitled people. My goodness, man. But that's going to go ahead and end today's episode, man. Thank you guys so much for watching, listening, supporting the show. You guys have been super awesome with all the support. Again, if you are on Spotify, if you are on Apple Podcasts, or even iHeartRadio, man, we on there too. Not like, but, you know, rate the podcast and download the podcast if you're an audio listener, man. It helps the show a ton. It's totally free to do. And just, you know, leave it that 5 stars. 5 stars is preferable, but, you know, if you go and rate it honest, rate it honest. But it helps the show a lot, and I thank you guys so much for that. If you want to help me even further, go to our YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button. Even if you don't watch on YouTube, just hitting the subscribe, it helps, man. It helps big time. Okay. I appreciate that. If you want to support the show to the max, man, if you want to get the most out of this show, patreon.com/Am I the Asshole Podcast. You know, Patreon is only $3 a month. I'll never ask, you know, any more than $3. If you want to donate more than $3, you can, but all I ask is $3 a month. And, you know, you get an exclusive episode, as well as being able to send in your scenarios, just like these people did today, to be featured on the show. Sometimes I do 1 or 2, but I've kind of been actually backlogged with a lot of them. So a lot of these few episodes are actually going to just be all Patreon scenarios that were just sent in. You know what I mean? That's why, yeah, a lot of them aren't like the juiciest stories, you know. Because not everybody's life is like super, you know, crazy or whatever. But, you know, some of them are. I ain't gonna lie to you. Like, we did have some pretty juicy ones here. I mean, just the fact that it was a lot of like sneaking around today. You know what I mean? It was a lot of stories of like sneaking around, you know, homegirl fucking her best friend's brother, you know, these married teachers out here, you know, sending nudes to each other and shit like that. It's wild out here. I ain't gonna lie to you, man. It's wild out here, and I know you guys are here for it, and I appreciate that. On the next episode, this episode will be coming out on Tuesday. Our Thursday episode, we're gonna actually be doing something brand new, and I want to promote this on this episode so that way you guys are ready for it on the next episode. I am going to start featuring, like books. Specifically book talk. If you don't know what book talk is usually kind of like spicy books that, you know, involve more of like a a girl and like a protagonist guy, where the guy is more of like, I don't know, he's a good looking stalker, or he is, I don't know. I haven't really got into it just yet, but expect that on next episode. We are actually going to be reading a book called Haunting Adeline. It's a book that I've been seeing a lot, especially on like the TikTok space and stuff like that. So I thought, why not feature it on the show? We react to it together. I'll be doing every Thursday starting this Thursday. I believe, let me see what Thursday that will be so I can get an accurate estimation for you guys. It will be, I think, starting of the new year, if I'm being honest with you. Yeah. Okay, so we'll be starting it of the new year. So on the 4th, on January 4th, 2024, we will be starting, because this will come out January 2nd, 2024. So this episode will be coming out January 2nd, 2024. So on January 4th, 2024, we are going to start reading Haunting Adeline. I am going to do the audio version, so that way it's being read by somebody else and we kind of get a bit of character narration, and stuff like that. I have the reading comprehension of a fucking 6th grader. As you know, when I read you guys the scenarios and stuff like that, or I read Reddit scenarios and stuff like that, my reading is not the best. And so I look at it like, if we're going to be doing like a long form reading kind of thing, I would like to have an audiobook style thing, so that way you guys have the best quality and the best understanding of it. That way the audio listeners have a good, feature and stuff like that. And if you're enjoying this, you can come back every Thursday. We're going to try to do one chapter every Thursday, but starting in 2024, we are going to be doing books. We're going to be doing audiobooks and stuff like that. And so, recommend me some books that we can do after, we finish this one, and, we'll try to just make it a segment, man. You know what I mean? Just kind of always improving the show, always making the show more interactive. And, the books that you do recommend, I want it to be something that is, very like drama inducing, you know what I mean? I want it to be drama. I want it to have a lot of intensity to it, you know what I mean? So that's why I kind of look towards books like this, or in the book talk community, if you will, and that will kind of those kind of books are very within that niche. So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoy that. If you do, let me know, you know what I mean? Leave a comment, you know what I mean? I just want to kind of gauge and see, if we could do something new. So let me know how that goes. I'll see you guys on Thursday, and that'll be our first book talk episode. And yeah, that's going to be that. Love you guys, and peace.